Well, what an exciting day. So I've just been through my road test. Try not to mumble on these videos, but I do mumble a bit occasionally. So lunchtime, it was a non-runner. Serviced the carbs. Got it running, but it was running way off, okay? But a couple of schoolboy errors, which I'll point out now. So I did the 1.5 turns out for the main jets, put everything back together, check the float levels, set the floats at the 1/8 of an inch using a drill bit, bending the tab, get that gap right. Anyway, got it fired up. It's very important to get the throw of the throttle and the choke. Get the cables adjusted so you get the correct full throw before you connect to anything on the carburetor. And that means that you don't sort of run out of travel and you don't get full choke for starting and things like this. But so I'll just show you what I did today. Again, all tips picked up on YouTube, and obviously instruction manuals came with the SU tuning kit. So I'll just show you what I did today. So, mounted the carburetors, and the first job is you need to loosen off these clamps here. So you've got one here and one here, and they tie the carburetors together through this tie rod, and this throttle works off here. So once you get it running somewhere near, right, disconnect these clamps so these carbs are separate. Yeah. Same with the chokes, just disconnect those so there's nothing going to put any weight on any of the levers, so they're all independent. So she was running really rough, so the first thing we did was obviously balance the carburetors using this trusty device. Okay, so what you do is when it's running, pop that on the back of the carburetor. You're looking for a reading, the number is important, but you need the same reading on each carburetor. So it's a case of just adjusting those throttle idle screws, which are here, okay? And we're after as even tickle as we can get them balanced up. Now, I made a schoolboy error. I forgot to connect the breather pipes. So there's one goes onto a brass spigot on this carburetor, there's one goes onto a brass spigot around the back. So having left this off, okay, it ran really badly. I also made another major schoolboy error. I put the return springs on the wrong part of the carburetor. So the two springs down here, I had them back to the linkage on the throttle here. They must, and it was, tickle was varying up and down, it was racing like a good one. Then I realised that the springs should go onto the back of the lever arm here. Okay, so we've got a lever arm here, yeah, and that spring, yeah, goes up on a tab on the back, and the same on that side. You can see the spring there. There it is, and it goes from the back plate up to the little lat. There's a little tab on the back of the throttle arm here, yep, and that makes sure the butterflies are returning to zero. As soon as I did that, got the breather pipe back on and got those springs on the butterfly returns, she ran a little bit better. So then I got them carbs balanced. Now when you start, the numbers are sort of, you know, in the 20s, yeah, okay, so you might be reading 20 on both carbs or different, whatever. So all you do is just keep dropping the tick over till you get the same value on each carburetor. Once she's warm, then it's time to start adjusting the jets. So we've got main adjuster nuts on here, on each carburetor. The default setting when you start is fully screwed in and then 1.5 turns down or 12 flats. Okay, so I started with the agreed position, got it fired up, and then whilst it's running, you've got two little pistons here. Yep, you see them? And all you do is you lift those, yep, and they lift the slides, yep, a little bit. There's one on this side. There it is. Yep. So while it's running, you lift those pots up, yep, and the engine will react. So you do one at a time. So I did the rear carburetor first, lifted the piston pin, and the idle was dropping, which signifies that it's too rich. So you need to too lean. So you need to drop the jet down. So it's clockwise looking from the top. So again, you go down flat at a time, do both carburetors. In between tuning, right, you give the throttle a little blip on each carburetor just to clear, and then carry on. And then eventually you get from where the idle is dropping off all the time until the idle stops dropping off. And now we're getting close. So then with it running, what we do is we just lift the piston again, and there should be a tiny rise, but then it should drop back down to normal. Okay, so whilst you're doing both carburetors, right, do them a little bit at a time. The idle speed will change. So again, right, after each adjustment, okay, you pop your synchrometer back in, yep, and you just do the same again. So every time you adjust the mixture, check the tick over. In between checking the tick over, give it a blip. So we got to a stage where she was running okay. So I've left it at that for now. I've got some electronic ignition to fit. I've got an AccuSpark full distributor kit, coil, cap, etc. I didn't want to fit them until I got it running on the standard setup, so we're not changing too much at the same time. But we had water temperatures sitting just below on about 180. Oil pressure was up to 80, right, about 60 on tick over, which is good. Speedo works, rev counter doesn't. So that's where we are. So yeah, it's all good. I need a new battery. So that's it for today. So this is part 4. So I'll keep you posted and catch up soon. See you later, but very happy. Bye.